Hi, I'm Travis, and I'm the sales manager here at RMS Roller-Grinder.
And hi, I'm Roy, and I'm the lead in research and development here at RMS Roller-Grinder.
Today we're going to take a little time to share with you the differences and the benefits between a roller mill and a hammer mill. That's actually a great question, a commonly asked question, the difference between a hammer mill and a roller mill. And I always say a hammer mill is much like that of just a hammer. It acts very much like in a smashing motion. I've got to imagine if you took a kernel of corn and you smashed it, kind of the pieces that are left over have a variation in sizes. As opposed to a roller mill, it acts more like a knife cutting as the rolls spin, creating a shearing effect. This generally leads to a lower deviation, a more consistent grind. Hammer mills also use screeners to adjust the particle size. Oftentimes they'll have to shut the roller mill down to be able to pull a screener out to either go to a more coarse or fine grind. As there were a roller mill, that's simply altered by the change of the roll position. So if I want to achieve a finer grind, I'll simply just move the rolls in. If I'm looking for more of a coarse grind, I'll do the exact opposite and I'll back the rolls out.
So typically, the benefits of a roller mill versus a hammer mill is a roller mill, due to the way it grinds, it can produce a more consistent grind profile. So all the particles that are ground up have a more consistent size, and there isn't a large variability in size. Another benefit to a roller mill versus a hammer mill is the amount of energy a roller mill uses is substantially less. This is due to the roller mill's ability to use the electrical energy that in a more efficient manner. It does not produce excess heat, drag, and other effects that a hammer mill would.
Yeah, roller mills are usually typically used for, in a general sense, taking a raw material and reducing it down into a finished, finer product size, particle size reduction. That's the general size of it. More kind of centralized, it's quality and consistent particle reduction in non-fibrous materials. You got grains, fertilizers, materials, coffee beans, and certain biomasses. Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of go back to the grains, we're looking at the staple of our industry is agricultural. A lot of either integrators or toll mills that are feeding a variety of different animals, cattle, chicken, hogs, things of that nature where they're looking to achieve different size particles. Grains also being our brewing and distilling. We sell quite a few brewery mills and distillery mills from either here in the States or overseas. So those are pretty common application. Fertilizers, we have a lot of companies on the West Coast that reach out to us that are looking to reduce the material so that way it will flow into water. So they're really looking for a consistent fine grind so that the absorption rate in the water is at a higher rate, because obviously they're only looking to spray liquid through a fertilizing unit. Coffee beans, we do have some industries where they're looking to grind up for larger industries for the coffee grounds and are looking for that consistent grind. And biomasses, actually Roy has a lot of experience in that. Can kind of speak to a little bit of that's more of a newer industry that we're getting into, but it's my understanding that's just essentially burnt wood that we're grinding up.
Yeah, so some of the newer industries that we're getting into, one of them specifically being biochar that Travis referenced, is utilizing wood that's been burnt in a vacuum chamber so it doesn't lose its nutritional value. And a lot of times that has to be sized to a consistent output that they can use it either in fertilizer applications or to use it as a filter to filter out contaminants within like water sources or other applications.
It's a great question. It's better for your application roller mill or hammer mill. This really depends largely on the target particle size, some material being processed, moisture of the product. If the material has a high moisture, typically a roller mill is best. In a hammer mill application, you run the risk of the machine, the temperature of the product raising up, which has led to, we've seen plugging and some potential for high-rise fires. If a coarser particle size is desired, a roller mill creates a higher consistency and deviation on that aspect of it. Like I kind of referenced back, I said before, with a hammer mill, if you imagine a whole kernel of corn and you're really only looking to, say, feed chicken or cattle or of that nature, a more coarser grind, a hammer mill doesn't realize that. It'll just keep pulverizing, and pulverizing is a term that we use. And a lot of times our customers are saying, I need, with the cost of corn nowadays, that all of that waste that they had absorbed in the years past when the prices weren't raised up, we need all of that. We were looking for that consistency.
Yeah, so when you're looking at a roller mill versus a hammer mill on energy consumption, typically a roller mill is going to be around that 25 to 30% more energy efficient. And the way the roller mill accomplishes that is a roller mill doesn't require an air assist system to pull material through the screens. So there's a lot of extra electricity that's used to pull that material through the screens. And then also the roller mill doesn't generate a lot of wasteful energy that a hammer mill would in like heat generation, drag, specifically of the hammers rotating at a high speed.
The maintenance between roller mill and hammer mill is another commonly asked question. Roller mills, like hammer mills, use tooling to reduce the particle size. Hammer mills use the tooling to refer to or uses hammers. Like most tools, over time those hammers wear out and will need to be replaced. Roller mills, we use corrugated rolls for the reduction of the particle size. How often those need to get replaced when they're dull depends on the target particle size, how often they're running it, and really the cleanliness of the corn. Obviously, the foreign materials such as rocks, cobs, and stalks, those tend to hinder the life expectancy of the rolls. But when the rolls become dull, usually ourselves or our customers will take those rolls out and we'll put sharp ones in. Over the recent years, to help alleviate some of that cost, RMS does offer to qualified customers an endurance roll program where they can receive a longer lasting roll. Oh, if you're in a situation where you have a hammer mill and want to be interested in learning more about a roller mill and what that would look like for your specific application on kind of what your day-to-day process looks like, we have a full qualified either sales staff or research and development that always stands behind us to help us with both the energy savings and kind of like the day-to-day application process, that we'd be able to answer those questions for you to see if at the end of the day if it makes sense for you guys to convert from either a hammer mill or roller mill, or a deciding factor between purchasing a hammer mill versus a roller mill.